Hey people, welcome to the Pathfinder Podcast, and on today's episode I am with Guy from rock band Idlewave from New Jersey. On this episode we talk about his career up to now, our love for Slipknot, community work Guy has worked on, his trip to Italy, future plans and lots more. Hope you enjoy. Hey Guy, how are you?
What's going on, Danny?
I'm good, man. Tell us about yourselves along with the band story up to now.
Cool. So when I was in college, I met a bunch of friends through a music program, and we started a band, and we weren't very good at all. We were covering like 4 Years Strong, songs like that, kind of on the easy core pop punk side, and then we started a band after we heard the Wonder Years for Screen Door off the Greatest Generation. We started a band called Flammable Animals, and we put out 2 EPs, a couple music videos, and then we rebranded into Idlewave, and then we put out the song Alpern, which was a single, and we were trying out a lot of new things. We moved from recording to our friend's basement into recording into like studios with big live rooms to get good sounding live drums, no like Melodyne or auto-tune on the vocals, and kind of take a more raw route to the pop punk genre, and always with very like emo acoustic like style vocals and lyrics and all that. And then we were shopping around these 4 songs, which eventually we turned into an EP that I put out in December because our guitar player got married and moved to Utah, and our bass player moved to Brooklyn. So it was kind of like there was a lot of things going on and not a lot of momentum. So I put out the EP by myself. We did some music videos, had a lot of friends help out during the way, like play instruments in the videos or play live shows. We've gotten a lot of great opportunities here to play with awesome local bands like Late Waves, Bobby Mahoney and the Seventh Son, and then I got the opportunity to open up for Oso Oso, whose record just came out. It's like one of my favorites this year. And then we got to open for With the Punches, Keep Flying, Halogens. Recently, just great shows happening, and I'm working on the first ever Idlewave full length right now, which is super exciting. So that's like the brief. That's the brief like one sheet history of the band.
Awesome.
I guess.
Yeah, because when I was checking out your website and your Facebook, could be wrong, but I was like seeing pictures of you. Like obviously on Facebook, it's a picture of you, but then there's like bands. So I didn't know if you're like a one-man band or if it's a full band or it was just guys helping you out.
Yeah, it was a interesting little transitional process. I mean, like Joe Enright, who's been one of my best friends since college, he's played drums with me for most everything I've done, and he kind of wanted to see back in the writing process, and he's working with a lot of other different bands and projects right now, and kind of taking a more session drummer approach to things. So it's funny, like he's my first like go-to if we want to do a show, and there have been times where it's like, oh, I need to like slow down with all these shows, and then there's certain opportunities he's like, I'd love to play, and he already knows the songs and wrote the parts that he plays and recorded, so it's awesome. Joe and I are homies. We see each other a lot, and we play in a bunch of other bands together, so there's that chemistry. And aside from our friends moving away, we have a lot of friends in town that play in other bands too that are big fans of the music, and they love playing shows, and they tell a lot of people to come out, and it kind of works out. But mostly, like in terms of financially, writing, creative process, decision making, it's me. And very blessed to have a bunch of people around as well. Like I've started working with a manager this summer, which is awesome. And then I also have just like whenever I want to do videography, I always go to Chris Kunichuk. He did the recent music videos. We just cut another one the other day. We're doing another one Saturday. Just like I love working with people like that, and of course working a lot with my new producer that we've been doing the full length with. So it's cool, like having a kind of team, which is way better than me just going out and playing shows alone and just be like, this is my solo project, like, woe is me. But I am incredibly fortunate for a lot of people that I have in my life right now that just made connections through music and really supported their art, and they've always supported mine. And it's cool jumping into this whole new adventure with this.
That's awesome. I was about to talk about the networking side of things in your area. So, but obviously it seems like it seems to be thriving, like with friends and bands playing, and obviously they're helping you. So is that how it's all come about?
Yeah, so we threw shows in college, and it was kind of like just who we knew. We didn't know too much of the local scene. We weren't as involved in as many local shows as we should have been. So it was basically like, oh, my roommate's cousin is in a band, and they ended up being halogens. Or like, oh, one of the teachers at our school plays in a DIY band, and that ended up being, Eric Romero. And it's just like we met these people through like, oh, these guys are in a band that we're working with or whatever. Oh, we got on a show with these people, and like that's how we got into this scene, or went up to New Brunswick to go see them play shows. And then we would have those bands on our shows, and then eventually, especially after like college, when we had a lot more time to go do runs and network with bands in the scene, just Asbury Park, where I live right now, the music scene was always consistently growing. There's a couple household names, like Bruce Springsteen's from here, I'm sure you've heard. And then in our college years, the Front Bottoms grew up. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Up in North Jersey, where I was from, and they relocated down to Asbury Park and kind of settled there. There's a couple other bands, like I don't know if you know Jack Antonoff. He's in Bleachers. He used to be in a band called Fun. Same story with him. He's like from one of the towns I grew up around, and then he I don't think he lives down here, but he has a big festival here every year, Shadow of the City, where he brings, like, I think he had Julian Baker come play like a year or two ago. We have a lot of punk festivals. We have so many venues, and like there's sometimes like tiny bands will come through, and then there's huge acts that come through. Who do we have this? I'm trying to think off the top of my head of like huge act we had, but we have national touring. We have literally everything. Last year we had Franz Ferdinand came and played the Stone Pony indoor stage. That was sick because they're a huge band. It's like not from America, so it's cool to have like a home for music like this in New Jersey of all places. So like it's not New York City, but it's its own little like community.
That's really good, is that? It seems like you're still attracting the big bands, and you got like a thriving scene that's going to help big like bands starting out to get out more and maybe get further afield, like different countries and so on.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all, and I'm glad Joe. He made the decision like once we graduate. He's like, I think if we find a cheap place to live in Asbury Park, work a couple part-time jobs, like we could go to shows most nights of the week, and we could network with other bands and like always be able to show face, especially when touring bands roll through. And it's helped a lot, as opposed to before we lived here. I was living an hour and a half from here, so I would try to make a weekend out of coming to it. But there are shows on weeknights that now I could walk to, and a lot of those, like going to shows and talking to people and hanging out late, has went a long way for me. Like that, more so than sharing a song on social media,
Yeah. So is that how how all your session work has come through, like the touring the bands towards the end of this year? Is it all come through like just making friends?
100% going to see. I will shout them out. I won't tell the full. I'll give a little bit of the full story. So again, that band Late Waves, they're legendary. They're just so damn good, and the members have been in previous bands that were very successful in the area, and this is their first time of a project of, obviously having creative control, doing what they want to do. I hope I didn't butcher that intro if they're watching this, but so just getting close with them, and then, they reached out and they're like, oh, we like your music you're putting out, and, we'd love to play a show with you, and we got on a show with them, and then they're just one of those bands that if they're playing in town, I just always go see them because I genuinely like the music, and they're also amazing people, so it's cool that we have that relationship. And then next thing I know, I got passed through them, like, hey, do you want to do this tour in the fall? Like, I heard this band's looking for a fill-in, and I was just like, hell yeah, I'd love to. And then they set me up for the audition and everything, and it went well. And now, especially another spot opened up for my friend Joe. So he's coming too. He's playing drums. I'm playing bass. We're going to be in a band. Excuse me. We're going to be filling in a band called Owl, and we're going to be on a full U.S. tour with the Early November and Have Mercy. And this is the craziest thing I've ever done. And it's like, I had no idea that this could have ever happened, from like coming down and just doing simple things like going to shows and talking to people and just hanging out. Like, that's literally all I've learned, just hang out and be nice, and obviously like make art you're proud of too, because I think they recognize that we're not just like people that play every once in a while, but every show has like a purpose, every song has a purpose, and like, I don't know, like, it's fun, it's cool.
Exactly, that's how you get somewhere in life. Like, you're not there like to gain something, or like, I'm doing this just to get a bit of money out of you. You're there generally there to, like, I'm your friend, I like your band, and become friends, and then help them out with anything they need. Then in the long run, they might come back to you and be like, you're a good dude, do you want to help us out? And then like it's getting you all on different bands and on tours around the country.
Yeah, you never know. That's another thing too. I mean, everybody says this, but you never know who you should be nice to, or who you meet that is like, who they know, or what their weight really is in like the field you want to be in, especially for music. Like, you really never know who you're gonna piss off, or like, there's so many stories of just like, you're talking trash about somebody and it ends up somebody whose label you're trying to get on, they're cousins with, or whatever. You have no idea. Like, so you gotta just play it safe and just, be polite.
Exactly, like, it takes time to build your career up, but it takes seconds to destroy it.
That too.
So just be a cool guy. Don't be an arsehole, because people will quickly find out the real you.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you can't hide any of that too.
Definitely not. So what started music for you personally?
So music. Well, I had so my mom has two brothers, and they both kind of taught me guitar, and they've always been interested in guitar. We've always had music on in the house growing up. Like, my family was big into like MTV and just rock music. We went to concerts. I first saw Linkin Park when I was 10 years old, which is crazy to me. And they set the bar really high. I saw a band and I was like, oh, every band's going to be amazing when I see them live, because this band's so good. And then you learn, like, some people have rough nights, or you just see, I don't know, there's just some concerts that aren't as fun, but that really, like, that inspired me. I was like, I really want to play music, so I started playing saxophone, and then I quickly realized I couldn't play, like, Green Day songs on saxophone, but I could on guitar, so my uncle was like, oh, I'll teach you these songs on guitar because they're really easy. But, then I pushed into, like, Jimi Hendrix and classic rock and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to, like, play solos and, like, just do all the, and it was pretty chill. learning from my uncles because they would just teach me whenever they were around, and it wasn't like, it wasn't like school. Like, oh, you need to know how to learn this song by next week. It's like, oh, here, this is what you're doing wrong. Let me fix that. It was a very organic way of, like, kind of teaching me music. And I always, like, it wasn't like, oh, I have to learn guitar. It's like, I want to learn guitar. And I'm incredibly fortunate that I was 11 years old and had something I wanted to do. You know, a lot of, like, especially kids I grew up with, their parents, like, forced sports on them, or forced theater or dance or something like that, and very much, even if they were amazing at it, they ended up being like a biomedical engineer or a accountant or something like that. It's just like they really, like, it almost sucks that they didn't realize they wanted to do accounting, or that they were super into it when they were 11, which I know would be kind of weird too, but I'm very fortunate that it was like, no, I really like music, and I'm 25 right now, and that hasn't changed. Like, I'll still go to a concert, or I'll still, like, listen to a new band or watch a music video, and I'll be like, this is sick. Like, how do I do that? Or I'll watch, like, a movie, and I'm like, how many cameras did this take? Or, like, something. I'm always thinking outside of the frame, and that's just something that I really love, the creative process. Like, we shot a music video the other day, and it's just like, it was a big party. It was like a pool party, but the pool was empty. So we were literally in an empty pool, like, lip syncing, playing with instruments, and just, like, chilling. Like, I got us some sandwiches, and we were just, like, out, like, great summer day, and we got lucky. The weather was awesome, and it was just like, this is sick. Like, music video is gonna look cool. Hope I captured the vibe of everything, and I hope people like the song, because that's more important than the video. And but I will never forget the fun times we had, and, like, people were like, really digging it. Like, everybody had a great time, and I think we're all just going to be antsy as hell when we're like, oh, when's this video come out? Because, like, I still don't know when we're going to put it out. Like, the music's still not finished, and I want to have some kind of a plan going on.
But yeah, it's cool that, obviously, like you said, people were helping, not forcing you to do what you want in life. It's just do what you want. Because I picked up a guitar, I think I was at similar age, to be honest. Like, American Idiot, the song itself got released, and before then I was into music and stuff, listened to it a lot, but weren't like a music freak. And then that song came out, and then not long after, my dad was like, why don't you just pick up the guitar, because you always air guitar into it and so on. So I did, and then after a little while I just got hooked, and then that song itself made me want to do music. And then that was like 2004. I'm 27 now, and literally music is all I'm good at, really. It's just literally, I'm just a music nerd. It's all I want to do. It's literally like a drug, which I'm sure, like, it's the same for you, really. Like, going to gigs, looking at gigs, thinking, how can I get better, and always looking at ways to improve yourself to get better.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't have bought that microphone, the headphones, the pop filter. You wouldn't have bought any of that if it was just, like, some hobby. Like, you gotta be doing, like, live sound and engineering, like, how many hours that you're just shaking because you're like, I can't stay awake anymore. I'm like 9 cups deep, and you're just like up till like ungodly hours. But like, why do you do it? You know, it's because like the payoff's amazing. It's sweet.
Exactly. Like, I've had times when I've been up late, like doing just like editing drums, or like just improving my like editing skills. And I was like, I'll just edit a few bars. It's like midnight now. I'll just edit a little bit, and I'll go to bed. And about 3 hours later, I'm like, oh, I'm still here, still doing. It's just like that's gone. That's not gone the plan.
10,000 hours. It's a lot. It's a lot of hours.
And it's just like, you've got to put the effort in. If you want to get far in music, then you need to prove like you're serious about it, and then you got to just prove, like, do the hours, put the effort in, and you'll get much further than some people.
Yeah, no, it's just like I'm always hungry, like in both ways. Like I'm always actually physically hungry, but I'm all because I come from an Italian family, but I'm also like just hungry to do more. It's like, oh, this is cool. Like I want to play, I want to do that, or I want to do like what that band does, or I want to do a tour or do anything. So it's just like it's that like it's like cool. On to the next. Always looking forward for the next thing, which is sweet. And it's cool too because it's nice and relaxing after, like, if you play a big show or you work a big show and there's like so many people there and it's exhausting trying to say hi to everybody and you're like freaking out. I don't know how like extroverted or introverted you are, but I like to think I'm pretty extroverted and I definitely get energy from people. But there have been a show or two this year where I've just been like, when I get off stage, I'm like, I need to eat something, or I need to like sit in the corner by myself for a minute and like catch my breath, and people are like in my face, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is every musician that I've ever annoyed's worst nightmare. And then like there's a show where I'll play acoustic to like 8 people, and where I'm playing, it's basically a conversation with the audience directly, and it's just hanging out, and I wouldn't trade that in for the world. Like that, I'm at a point where I'm available to do that, like play a backyard show where I can just bust out a cover where like we don't even know half the words, but we're just like having fun. And then like I could play a show where, open for a decently strong pulling band and really put my heart out there and get like a roar of applause afterwards. Like it's awesome. And I want to keep working toward playing bigger shows and then still like being just like a local guy, like I don't ever want to lose that, because I feel like it sucks. Like everybody's like, oh, I want to get to the top, but they don't think about like how are you going to be able to walk to the pizza place that you really love if everybody's like wants a picture with you, like. So I'm very fortunate that my life's not like that.
Yeah, you can't be just an arrogant or whatever person. You got to be down to earth, and then people will see that, and then you slowly work your way up, and then just don't forget where you come from, because like some people like become the biggest thing in the world, don't care about anyone. It's like, oh, I've got all the money, I've got everything, and then once people lose that, and then like, oh, I've got nothing left, and it's like, well, you would do if you weren't such an arrogant guy working your way up to the top. You just stay a kind, generous guy, and then people will remember that, and then whatever happens to your career, people will have your back.
I always try to be respectful to people that do have a following. My last thing is I don't want to freak them out. Like I don't want, like, I hear it when I've had moments where my friends have made me take pictures with people who are like, I'm your biggest fan, your music saved my life, and like, oh my god, your set was sick, and it's just like it's tough. I'm always trying to just be like, talk to them about normal things, or not show how much I love their music when playing.
Yeah.
Just like make it a normal interaction.
Yeah, just go up to him and say, just, like I said, just have a normal conversation rather than going up to him like, oh my god. Because he just freaks them out. It's like, okay, calm down, just be chilled.
Yeah, and whenever, I'm always, when somebody is just like, oh, like, I love music so much, I'm just always like, why? Like when they're like, oh, I love your music so much, I always just like dismiss it. I'm like, why? Like, that's terrible. You should listen to other things. Like,
yeah, because I always say sometimes I might be like talking to someone, and deep down I might be a bit like, oh my god, but I don't saw that. I just walk off and just like, freak out.
There's some people that gets me more than others, where it's just like I think how much and how often I like get addicted to their writing or their music, or like always up to date on what they're doing with social media, which is so creepy. Side note, but like when I do talk to them on the inside, I'm like shaking, and I'm like realizing everything I say, and I'm like, this is just weird. Like.
Yeah, because and then when you meet them, they tend to be just normal people in a way. Because a couple of years ago, I think it was about 2010, Stone Sour and Ben Senfold were doing a tour in the UK, and I went to, I think it was the Nightmare tour, and I went to it thinking, oh, either go down early, I might meet Corey Taylor, but I was thinking, he'll be inside all day because he's Corey Taylor. They have security everywhere. But nope, I got there and Corey was outside with the fans all day long, and he was honestly the nicest guy I've ever met. And I was like, you are like the frontman of Slipknot. Like you could be like the biggest arsehole ever. But it was honestly, there was no ego to him. He was honestly so nice. I'm like, it's like there's no reason to freak out people. Look at him. He's just being kind, just being a normal guy. So you can be a normal guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Have you like read any of the stories about what happened to them too when they were growing up?
Oh, I haven't gone into detail. Detail, no.
It's just as haunting as the music. Like they're not a lot of those things up. Like there's some crazy things I've read about that I was just like, oh my God, these poor guys have been through this, you know, and just like terrible stories when you get a minute. Also, that new record's sick they have.
It is a very good record. Just put it out there.
I'm so glad I got to see them a couple years ago. I'm pissed they played around here the other night, but I wasn't around. They were one of those bands I had on a bucket list. It's like, I want to see this band before I die. And I just, you know, we ended up getting like $30 tickets, and it was just, we sat at the back of this venue, but we had a great time. They were amazing. Like, they're unreal.
Yeah, I saw them on their last album, Cycle, and that was the first time I saw them. And they were so good. 'Cause I used to hate Slipknot when I was younger. When I was getting into music, I just thought, I didn't really like metal at that point. I was just like, what's this? This is awful. And they just wear these stupid masks and they just bang these bowel things. I just don't get it. It's so crap. But then I slowly got into them, like Waiting Blade. I got into that. And then eventually into the other songs. And now obviously I just love that band. So
yeah. Oh my God. No, they're heroes. They're one of the biggest metal bands of all time, and they still kill it. They've been doing this for easily over, like, as long as we've been born.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They're in their mid to late 40s, and they go so hard, like, harder than most bands who are in the 20s. It's just like, oh my God. But that's what it's like to be in Slipknot. You want to be in Slipknot, you need to go hard, and that's what the band's about.
Oh my God. I sweat in, like, a t-shirt and shorts. I'm sweating when I play, and Corey Taylor is fronting one of the biggest metal bands in the world in a jumpsuit and a mask. I can only imagine what that smells like.
Oh, that laundry guy must love this job.
Oh my God, yeah. Now they have somebody that can wash their uniforms, thank God. But back in the day, they had to torn those. Yeah, because one of my teachers from high school, he grew up in Nebraska. And he saw them at a local show when he was like 15. They put a VFW show to like 30 people, and they couldn't even all fit in the room. And like, this act. Like the same thing they're doing today, you know? Like the masks, screaming, like crazy metal music. Like, I'm so impressed with the riffs too on this new record from like a songwriter's perspective. It's like, you've been doing music for this long, and you could still bust out heavy-ass riffs that are insane. They're so musical, like 90 members with 2 guitars.
Yeah, and obviously just having clown who's just
like
bit of a genius behind the scenes of the world.
So they've got everyone like all of them
put input with great ideas.
Yeah, no, they're awesome.
And obviously Corey's just a great songwriter, so everyone's got their own massive parts to that band.
Yeah, they're great.
So what's the main influences from the band's sound?
So originally, the Wonder Years was a big gateway drug into this like modern pop punk world with like 4 Years Strong, The Story So Far. Those were big influences on like all of us as a collective. And then recently I've been into this upcoming DIY scene where these are bands that I saw play to like 5-10 people, and I've got to see them play festivals now, like Just Friends, Prince Daddy and the Hyena, Mom Jeans. These bands have just been working so hard. Remo Drive, they've been murdering it, and I've definitely learned a lot from them in terms of this modern day, where it's not like, you're not going to make it the same way Green Day did. You're not going to make it the same way Weezer did. entirely because the internet wasn't even that big a thing when these bands were first starting out. It was something they had to manipulate later on, and like they got their feature on MTV or Rolling Stone, or it's a very different world now where those things almost don't really matter. Like if I premiered a song on MTV tomorrow, I don't even know what that would do compared to some kid that flips sneakers out of his dorm room. Like it's a very different world in terms of what people are into. So it's cool learning from these bands that they still they still think it's cool to make music in a studio. They still think it's cool to like professionally master it, and they're into a lot of bands that I'm into, like Jimmy Eat World and just like emo legends and all that type deal. So those bands have really influenced like the way of going about things. And again, like I'm very fortunate too, like seeing them at such a small level. Like I was talking to Ryan Ellery from Just Friends before. Like I was DMing him. Like it's just like whereas I have absolutely no contact with anyone in Green Day, and they're like one of my biggest heroes. So it's cool like when you do see a band that could be successful and you have like common ground with them. And especially Sam from Just Friends, we could still talk. Like he still knows who I am. He recognized me the other night. Like it's like that's so cool because you do get to a point where you're like meeting so many people that, especially like me, I look like everyone. So it's like too. It's like hey, like it's just like oh, have we met? Like type deal where it's just like you need like some kind of mutual connection going on or some reference. Like I know you from this room or this like. I know you from this person or whatever.
Yeah, cause sometimes when you see a band when they're just starting out and they haven't really got that many fans, then obviously you chat and hang out and stuff. Then if you see them a few more times, then they start remembering you. And then when they're big, like you said, if they still remember you, it's like that's cool. You got all these hundreds of thousands fans on your back, but then you see me and you're still like I know you, and it's just like oh. Wait, that's good.
They had to make a connection with me in every city they've ever been in, and especially like Just Friends, like a band like them, they were in Europe. They did their first Europe tour, I think last year or this year, and they had to do that over there too. So like, you have to meet so many people to really grind and like make fans, because no label's going to do that for you. Like no magic timing of uploading a song at the right time or whatever is going to do that for you. Like everybody's success has come from the relationships they make with people in person, which is also a very humane thing that I really love. And I think like I don't know where music's headed in the future, but I do know that talking to people is still what's making us thrive, which in this digital age I'm very grateful for, because I watch too much Black Mirror and I just like see everything going in that way.
Yeah, because that's mainly we just always make the effort to go and talk to people in person, and obviously some fans are like, oh wow, like I feel like they feel like they're actually friends with the band rather than just a random fan and you have a picture of them and then you never see them again. You actually feel like you're making connections with real friends around the world, and then that people start telling other people, saying that this band actually legit cares about the fans, could actually come out after the gig and actually hang out with people, and then they do like every gig they do.
No, you're 100% right, especially when you're going to other countries and all that. That's crazy. That's like a dream. That'd be so sweet.
Especially when like some countries, when they're like English is their first language, and then they're still coming out and like making an effort, and that people see that and really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's sweet. I know a couple bands that have like went to Japan before they went to England even, or like did something like that. And even we got pretty fortunate back in college through our music program. We went over to Italy for 2 weeks, and we got to do a tour in like the mountain ranges of Italy, playing to these villages in their summer, which was like we would play to villages of like 300 people, but they would all be outside, like celebrating and drinking in the street and everything, and it was just a great time. Like it was like that was so cool. It was 100% language barrier for like going to a village in the mountains where they don't really need to speak English. Like they don't even need to speak like the Duolingo version of Italian. They just speak the local like rush of Italian there, and they were very upset when I didn't speak any English. Like very upset because I am Italian American, but I don't. We didn't speak it in the house growing up or anything, and there wasn't a language offered to us in school. So I went there with basically no experience. I tried, but they ate me alive. Like I was ambushed.
Yeah, I was thinking about going into like the outskirts, like into the very rural parts of a country that don't speak English, because, like you said, they've got no need to speak English because they're probably born there, live their life there, and then die. So they're like, I don't need to speak English. So when someone comes there, they're just like, don't understand the words.
They have no reason to, but it was cool. Like we would play covers, and they knew the words. They knew the English words. Like I find it fascinating too. English is definitely one of the like more frequent singing languages around the world, which is crazy. I hope that like that's at least in my perspective of like seeing people from other countries, or like whenever I would like YouTube like covers, like vocal covers or guitar covers or anything. Somebody that doesn't speak English at all could sing like a Weezer song perfectly, with no accent. Like your accent vanishes, and I feel the same way with like a lot of bands from the UK that you would never know they had accents from their songs. Unlike like the 1975, you could tell from that, but like
I've noticed that a lot. It's like bands like they speak to the crowd and they're just like it's like not great English, but they can just about get through. But then they sing a song and it's just like fluent. There's like no issues at all.
Yeah, especially the Beatles. Like they do not sound like they're from England. Like they don't. Like in their songs, like they have like American accents when they sing.
And then they start speaking. It's like
Yeah, it's like, whoa, where'd that come from?
Yeah, the good old Liverpool accent.
Like by the book Liverpool accent.
So like, talk about your EP, like lyrics and the inspiration behind it.
So we again we used to record in our friend's basement, where we would have the drums done in a closet. And then we would move an amp in there into the closet and do that. And then I would go and do vocals in the closet. And that was basically this, like, music was recorded. So, like, it sounds like a recording, but, obviously it's got some limitations on basically the space of, like obviously somebody like yourself could tell, oh, these drums were done in a closet. Like, they weren't done in, like, a church or, like, a hall or anything like that. So we found a studio we were recommended called Portrait Recording Studios, and a lot of drive-through records bands in the early 2000s, like pop-punk bands that played Warped Tour a lot. They did stuff there like The Starting Line and The Early November, pretty ironic. But so we did stuff there with this producer, John Ferrara, who was very laissez-faire. Like, he was just like, I'm going to set you guys up, we're going to find a tone, and that's the take. So it wasn't like, when we used to do things, it was like, let's try as many vocal takes as we could and then go with this. This was like, I had a couple shots, and it was cool. Like, I would be like, oh no, let's like redo this or whatever. He was so like, there would be a mistake in the guitar part, and he would be like, yeah, that's fine, sounds great. Like, it's music. He's like, what do you want? Everything to sound perfect every measure. And like you listen to the EP, and it's not like, oh, there's a mistake. It's just kind of like, oh, this sounds cool. This sounds like real, which was cool. And then, as far as the songwriting, a song like Heaven Knows, the fourth track on the EP, that was like looking towards 3 years old, like 2.5, 3 years old, and I wrote that sitting in this room I'm in right now, my living room, and just wrote it on acoustic guitar. It was a ballad. And I took it to Joe, and he's like, we should like give it like a fast drum, not a fast drum beat, but give it like a groove, and it was like moving, like it was like a chuggy song as opposed to this like 6/8 like just like strummy song. And then that song has had a lot of work, especially like playing it live, and we used to have like a shorter, like I think in the demo the outro wasn't as long, and then we were like, oh no, we need to like extend this part or like anything like that. And then we even messed around with doing a weird arrangement to it, so it wasn't just verse chorus. And then You Caught Me was a song that we had an opportunity to shop a single to these people that wanted to manage us. So we wrote this song in literally a month. We just, like, less than a month even, we wrote You Caught Me, and it just ended up coming out so good. And then we wrote Smoke, which was one we were working on before You Caught Me, actually. And that one came together pretty easily. And then Calm we wrote even shorter because we were like, oh, we need another song, and it was the best idea out of these other ideas we were working on. And I actually just did an interview yesterday where I was talking about how Calm originally was longer. There was like a whole nother section to it, and it was, again, about a slow ballad, and Joe's like, we've never written a song above 200 BPM, so let's try that. So the click track's going like crazy, and we're just like nailing these like triplets. And then it was just like, we don't need this outer part. Like the song verse chorus was fine, and it was like cool. And we did a song that was like 2 minutes. Like Palm ended up being like around 2 minutes long. And it's like, that's great, because like what more needs to be said for that song in 2 minutes, which was cool. Like it's not like, oh, check out my band song, it's 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Like, hope you enjoyed it. It's like, oh no, this song's like it's like a flash, which is cool. So yeah, we had those 4 songs. They were done at 2 separate times. We did You Caught Me and Smoke first, and then a couple months later we went and tracked Heaven Knows and Calm. And yeah, they were originally going to be singles, but there was a lot on my mind about, like, I wanted an EP out, especially if we weren't doing the singles game, we weren't doing like touring or anything. I wanted to just have a big EP release party. It was great. Got a couple friends' bands to play it. Had a really great show, and it kind of leaned us into the new year of like, I learned a lot about marketing and just like trying things out. And like this whole EP's been because we're still like, this came out in December, it's not even a year old, and I'm learning how to market on like Spotify, and I made the choice of like, I'm going to work a couple jobs, like extra part-time delivery jobs, and save up some money to do like music videos, because I feel like that's important, and just making content, because what is Idlewave when you like Google it, or if you like if you come see a show and those songs aren't readily available for you when you get home, like what's even the experience worth? So trying to do that, so whenever there's a show opportunity, it's like there's t-shirts, there's songs at home, you can download the songs online, like, there's like enough to keep you satisfied and like keep it ready for tour. And yeah, definitely after this tour, I want to get like a serious group of people together that want to like go play weekend runs and eventually do week-long tours, and just like build up into like that month away from home where we're going around. And I want to definitely grow markets, and I've learned so much. I'm just talking to people and like where the attention span's at right now, and what like labels want and what management wants, and what's the best way to just keep yourself current and release things well, and have fun as well. So it's not just a crazy, like, I'm sitting behind the computer all day mailing my songs to people, just being like, all right, who's going to take it? Because it takes so much more than that, and it's overwhelming, like, thinking about what we could do. But that's like something I'm always constantly reminded of. It's like there's only so much I could do at the same time. Where I'm not like I'm not going to go put stickers on everybody's car. outside. Like, I'm not going to do that. They're not going to be like, oh, I like this band because they put a sticker on my vehicle. No, it's vandalism. Like.
So talking about marketing, you also got like a website, and obviously it looks like a really professional website, so it'd be cool to go into that.
So that's all my manager, Sarah. She's awesome. I think I'm one of her first clients, which is really cool because she did that website all by herself, and like I wasn't over her shoulder pointing at things or anything. She was like, "What do you think of this?" And she just put together all the content I have from like my Google Drive and like everything I've been saving up. And I'm like, "Whoa, you crushed it!" And we're still gonna update it because we have a lot more like stuff going on, and there's like new content coming out and stuff like that. But thank you so much. Like, I will pass that along to her.
Yeah, really professional. It's not like just a generic website. He's like struggling to look around. She's done a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, because we were very internet accessible around like 2005, 2006. I remember the Gorillas were huge. Like, super, I mean, they've always been pretty big, but they were like, this is after Feel Good Inc.
Yeah.
I was like 11, 12 years old, and I would be on my parents' computer playing on their website. I don't know if you remember this from back in the day, but it was like an experience. It wasn't just like music. Like, it was literally like you went in all the characters' bedrooms.
Oh, yeah. I think I remember something. Yeah.
And I was always like, I was so into that experience of like having fun on a website. And I think Sarah really like knocked it out of the park with this, where it's not just like it is an EPK, but it's not. It, you know, the music videos are on there. There's clickable photos. There's like interactive things, and it's cool because it's also like for a while I was very anti-website because I was like, bands are just on their like Facebook or whatever. But I'm glad that websites are, especially if you're a professional one, that has more weight than a Facebook page, because I think like when I'm finding new music, going on a band's Facebook page is exhausting. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't even, like, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of that platform. I think Instagram is killing it right now. Instagram and like Spotify. If I see you live and I like you, I'm downloading you on Spotify, I'm screenshotting it, I'm like going to your Instagram page and following you. It's so easy. And it's like, oh, they did a tour with this person, or oh, they're tagged in this playlist or whatever. Like, it's way easier. But thank you so much. The website, like, I hope you probably looked at it on a computer.
I have, yeah.
The mobile version, because I think like Instagram might have to be that mobile filler for a website at the moment.
Yeah, Instagram's good. Like, I'm basically like living on Instagram, always like Instagram stories, uploading content, and just keeping regular so people know what you're doing. And that's what I do like every week now, always uploading it, something at least.
Yeah, it's fun. And like it's also like we'll put something on Facebook and it won't get that much attention, but I'll put something on Instagram and it's like, oh, cool, like people are like commenting and they're DMing, and it's like, this is really cool what you have going on. Like, Facebook is not that kind of, like, you'll be so lucky if you get like an interaction out of something. Too many like invites to things, and there's bands that I'm a fan of that like either I don't like their Facebook page because I never thought of that, or like they're just hidden in my radar. Like, you don't see it as much as other things.
Yeah, because when I like upload content on Facebook, you get 1 or 2 likes and no one else cares. But on Instagram, yeah, you can like hashtag a ton of hashtags, and then you get like 50, 60 likes and maybe a comment or 2. It's like,
yeah, it's like, oh, it's that easy. And then Facebook, the way it is now, you have to pay to get seen by your
boosting likes and stuff.
That I could make I could record a song for that much, or I could make T-shirts and sell them. Like, what a waste of my money. Like, paying for your ads. Now I say that, but I'm also probably going to pay for ads to promote the next video, which, just because Facebook is like the remaining thing for like your song might come across somebody that like is also interested in these bands or whatever if it's shared by multiple people. But I don't know, it's still like try to like save up money for PR rather than like just Facebook like little ads.
Yeah, just spam Facebook people like, here's my content.
Oh my god. Did you watch this? Have you seen this?
No, if I'm correct, you do like community projects, charity-based stuff.
So we I really love the idea of doing some kind of community project annually. We were lucky enough to get invited to play a Rock and Raise concert back in April with Oso Oso, Well Wisher, and Sonic Bloom, where we were raising money for the American Cancer Society. So I decided to make T-shirts with our friend. He also played bass on the record. Our friend Matt, his face on it with like the Idlewave graphic, and ever since then, I've like the remaining T-shirts I have, like all of them, 100% of the proceeds have gone to the American Cancer Society. Even after the event, I still sell them at shows, or I was mailing them to, and it was fun. Like I'm still doing it, but I definitely, when those shirts dry up, I'm going to do another charity event next year, because I think that's cool, especially like for bands that like Oso Oso has a lot of weight to his name. So when he does a show like that, that's awesome, because it really like gets people to be like, oh, this like nationally touring band is at my college, and they're also like standing up for a good purpose and like raising money. So it's cool to do stuff like that. So I definitely want to do like see what the next event is and do shirts for it, and just keep like raising awareness.
Awesome, I love that. So including that, what's the rest of your year and beyond planned?
So I'm going to go on this tour, and then I will be booking from the road. So if anybody needs to get in contact with me for shows for afterwards, they could DM Idlewave NJ on Instagram, or they could email idlewavebooking@gmail.com, and we will, adhere to all booking requests. Definitely down to make some more friends and play some rad shows, and definitely at the start of next year going to put some new music out. I don't want to give too much away, but I do want to finish a lot more, but there also are some songs I'm sitting on, so it might be cool to cater to the people that have been supporting me as opposed to this imaginary audience that doesn't exist yet. So it's like, I definitely want to do that, and more shows with, again, bands like Late Waves, Bobby Mahoney, the ones you forgot, the Vaughns, like friends of ours that it's just like they're killing it this year. And we've been friends with them for a while. Like a band like the Vaughns, we've been friends with for 5-6 years, and it's just like we should be playing way more shows with them, because that's so sick. And like it's just, we have so many friends come out to them, and it's a way more intimate experience than like, oh, this band like kills and has 1,000 people show up to a show. It's like. But doing more stuff like that, just playing with friends, and excited to meet new bands that are sick, and like touring bands, hopefully open for a nationally touring act would be crazy cool. And just keep doing it. Like I said, like playing a garage show to 5 people and playing where we really like give it our all to push tickets and like have a sick show where it's like lighting and a huge sound system and everything like that.
Awesome. So what's the best ways to get hold of you, your band, websites and Facebooks and stuff?
Yeah, idlewaveband.com, Instagram idlewavenj, Idlewave on Spotify. You could Google, YouTube us, Idlewave, and everything will come up. Pretty easy to get in contact. idlewavenj@gmail.com, I believe, is the email. My name's Guy, so anything that's tagged Guy, like Idlewave, anything like that. I think it's weird too. YouTube used to message people. I don't think you could do that anymore. Like,
yeah, I heard something about like YouTube taking that down, but I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was a thing. Yeah, it was. I got into contact with a lot of people through that back in the day, but they don't do that anymore. We're old. Damn it. So Yeah, just Instagram. Like you'll find it. If you Google Idolwave, you'll find me somehow. But thank you, Danny, so much for having me. This is sweet.
No, it's been really good fun having good to talking to new people about everything music.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, anything else that you would like to say?
No, just thank you so much for giving me a platform to talk about my music and art, and it's been really sweet hanging with you. I'm glad we got to have this happen.
Awesome. Yeah, me too, dude.
All right, tight.